What's up guys, welcome to Tactical Edge Hobbies. My name is Matt and this is Jason.
Hey guys, today we're going to cover the maintenance and care of the APS, the gas blowback pistols, and some of the tools that we're going to use.
Yep, we'll also run through the correct lubricants that you should be using and where to put them. Alright, so how do we get started?
Alright, so first of all, we're going to field strip it. So you've got to take the magazine out first, pretty much to be able to get the slide off. And on the XTPs, we've got a little pin. That's what holds pretty much the slide and the barrel assembly on the lower. So usually having something to be able to push that pin out, such as this little valve tool we've got, or even just a pen would do the job. Just got to be able to push it out. Then you've got to pull the slide back first and then slide it forward. So what that does, it'll set the hammer down, because if the hammer's up, the slide will catch on that. So make sure you pull it back first and then push it forward. So now we've got the slide off, we can begin pulling the barrel assembly out. So it's just that little recoil spring there, that's what pulls the slide back forward. And then we've got our barrel assembly, which has got like the inner barrel, the barrel holder, and the outer barrel. So the best thing is you just push it forward and then pull it back out like that. All right, so at this point, we're pretty much at the point of cleaning. So what you need to do is grab yourself some paper towels, probably best to cut some up. But what you need is something that's not going to leave lint behind, pretty much crap that could get in your slide, into your mechanics of your lowers, anything like that. So get a bit of paper towel and you can start pretty much wiping down all the lubricant and dirt and whatever that's left in your slide, because that stuff is not good to be having in there whilst it's operating. If you've got dirt in your lube, it pretty much becomes an abrasive paste like sandpaper, and it's just going to wear away your parts that you don't want to happen. So this is why you need regular maintenance and cleaning, is so you don't unintentionally damage your blaster. So you want to make sure that you do get in here and clean, but this is where it's really important that you have something that's lint free, because if you're leaving behind crap, you do not want it to go into that little assembly in the back there. All right, so make sure you're using paper towel. All right, so it'll be pretty handy to get yourself one of these little tools. It's basically like a push rod or a little cleaning rod. You can get them in like gun cleaning kits, but look, we may look at stocking these in the future, and if we do, we'll throw the link down below. But what you want to do is grab a little bit of paper towel and thread it through the little hole that's there, and you want to turn it around in the same direction that you're going to twist it through the barrel. Push it in and twist it through the same direction. Don't stop, don't pull back, and don't twist the other way, because we want to push the stuff through and all the way out the other end. All right, that's how we're going to clean the inside of our little barrel correctly, so we get all the dirt and grime out of there as well. Don't be afraid to go through a couple times to make sure you get everything out. You just want to make sure that barrel is nice and sparkly clean. All right, so it's a good idea to grab your barrel and point it at a light object, like such as a light or a window out the sun, and you can look through and you'll be able to see whether there is crap still in the barrel, and if there is, just keep going through and clean that out. Make sure you pull this little nozzle forward and get in and clean the little rubber seal inside that little cylinder there.
Alright guys, so we're going to start the lubrication process now. So we're going to show you exactly what lubrications we recommend and where and how to use them. So what are we using first, Jace?
Alright, so this one here is your Abbey silicon gun oil. Perfect for these blasters and keeping them well maintained and well lubricated. So now that you've cleaned your blaster and you've cleaned all the dust and anything else out that possibly was in there, this stuff here is good for your rubber O-rings inside here. So basically you slide that back again, put a couple of drops on here, and then work it round with your finger, because this actually does turn and you want it to be able to get lubed all the way around. And then you can let it go and just slide it back forwards a couple of times, and then proceed to put one drop inside there. It's also a good idea that even if you haven't cleaned your weapon, is to basically, this is like what you do for like a field clean. It's just an everyday maintenance is to just drop a couple of drops in there and just make sure that it keeps it well lubed. Also, you want to drop a couple of drops inside the hammer here, just like that. Keep it nice and lubed so you know that all your working parts are going to be nicely lubricated and work no matter what. Also guys, it's also good to lube up the hard to reach places inside your trigger area. Because of the viscosity of the oil, it does work its way down and it makes it so much easier, and you don't have to worry about your trigger going dry. Only need a couple of drops and you're good to go.
Okay, so we also sell a Lonex O-ring lubricant. So again, this stuff, it can be used, you know, on the slide and everything like that if it's all you've got, because, you know, lubrication, any lubrication is better than no lubrication. But there is a couple other places that you want to make sure you keep lubed, and that's the outer barrel here and the recoil spring and like pin, essentially, if you want to call it a pin. But because you've got movement here, you want to make sure that these are nice and lubed. Now if you've gonna have no lubrication on it, you're essentially making your pistol work harder. So you're going to go through more gas, it's less gas efficient, and you know, it is possible that you could break something eventually if you take no care at all. But the main thing is, yeah, you're going to be chewing through gas way quicker than you would have when it was new. So we'll lubricate here.
Just another thing too, it also puts a lot of friction between the metals, and when the metals start getting hot, they start to deteriorate, which makes it work harder. You know what metal on metal's like, gets hot and it just doesn't work properly no more.
Alright, so we're ready to reassemble the upper slide. So what we're going to do is put the relubricated outer barrel back in, set it back, and then we'll grab our recoil spring, put it in the front there, and you want to make sure it's sitting nice and square against that barrel holder, because if you've got it off to the side, it's not going to go on properly when you put your slide back on. It'll catch. So make sure it's nice and square when you put it back on. Line up your rails and slide it back. Now that you've got it back on, you want to put your pin back through so that the upper slide is pretty much locked on now. Okay, so we're onto the magazine now. So the first thing you need to do is make sure it's pretty much depressurized. So you don't want any gas in the mag when you do this. So there's a little valve on the back. It's called the output valve, the purge valve, the striker valve, whatever you want to call it. That valve there lets the gas out, runs the blaster. So you want to make sure there's no gas in there, because it's going to be holding the bottom cap pretty much locked in. So to take the bottom part off, you just pull down that little thing and pull the cap backwards. Then we've got the little mag cap, or the mag nut there. Use your Allen key that was supplied in the box. Whack it in and turn it anti-clockwise, so to the left. It's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Pull it all the way out, and we want to clean the thread and the O-rings on the nut. So if there's any dirt and grease, dirt and grime and whatever there, we can clean that off like that. Alright, so we're going to move on to the other valve as well, and we're going to take that out. So remove any CO2 that you might have in there, but we're going to take this valve out, and we've got a special little tool. It's called a valve key, and we're going to be stocking these soon as well. Find the right side and put it in. It's lefty-loosey, so anti-clockwise it'll come out. So turn it out all the way until you see it pretty much out. And then you might need something just to sort of pry that little valve out. Sometimes it can fall out, sometimes it just needs a little bit of help. So once you take the valve out, you might have an O-ring sitting in the back of the magazine. So you can just get something and pretty much just pull it out. Yep. So what we want to do now is just clean the valve, clean inside where the valve sits on your magazine. You don't want any debris or any dirt or anything getting in here, because this is where all the hard work happens for the magazine. So if there's anything that gets in there, it could block something. You're going to have a reducing gas output and whatnot. So make sure you clean the valve. Okay, so regular maintenance of this valve, you grab your silicone gun oil again and just drop a bit on the valve, but then you want to actuate the button a bit, just so you can get it, work it in there. You've got a spring and that you want to make sure that's lubed and that can move freely. On the top as well, you've got a little rubber seal, but you want to drop that into there, because right down below that is the rest of the valve. So doing that will make sure the valve is nice and lubed. Give the valve another bit of actuation to get the lube through, and yeah, that's just general maintenance, what you should do day to day to keep that valve nice and happy. All right, so now we can re-lubricate the mag cap or the mag nut. So there's 2 O-rings on there. You want to make sure that they're nice and healthy. If you do end up damaging them, there is O-ring kits available, but you want to make sure that these are always nice and lubricated, pretty much straight out of the box. It's just general maintenance. You want to make sure that they're always nice and lubricated. If you don't lubricate them, then it is possible, or it's, makes it higher, higher than likely that you can damage the O-ring when you assemble it. But what we're going to do now is, once they're lubricated, we're going to put a bottle of CO2 in. So the way the bottle goes in is you want the pretty much the skinny side to be facing up when you put it in, like that. Drop it in, and then we can put our mag cap on, and you just want to get that nut nice and straight. You don't want to cross thread it. It is a fine thread, so you don't want to cross thread it. Just go in nice and gentle. Have the Allen key in that orientation, because you want the least amount of leverage when you're putting this bit in, because you want to feel just when it just touches the top of the CO2 bottle, but without piercing it, because that's your last point of, pretty much the point of no return. As if you go any further, you'll pierce a hole in the CO2 and it'll come leaking out, and you'll have pressure against the nut. So once you get to that point, make sure that the O-ring is sitting nice and straight, and it doesn't have the chance to pinch. Get your Allen key in that orientation now, so you've got the leverage, and then just crank it in. It might get a little bit tight, so get to the tight bit and just go like a quarter of a turn past that. The main objective is to get the nut down far enough so you can put the base plate on without the nut getting in the way. All right, so that's pretty much ready to go. You can sort of feel if the mag is nice and pressurized by feeling that little valve at the back. If it's quite stiff, then the mag has pressure. You don't have to give it a bit of a push, just a nice little feel. You'll tell if it's pressurized or not. Cool.
So there you have it, guys. That is your APS GBB, nice and maintained, ready to rock. Look, if you enjoy the video, make sure you give us a like. If you have any questions, put a comment down, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to see more videos like this. And yeah, I think that's it from us.
See you on the field, guys.
Cheers, guys.